I got this wraparound one. I got the tower on this side. Y'all seen plenty of that last year. I can spin right on around. I got this wraparound view. Matter of fact, I'm getting dizzy. I can even sit on the toilet. Sit on the toilet. Take a bath. Check out Seoul at the same time, huh? That's the Sheila Hotel right there. That's where George Bush stayed last year. The windows is messed up. Pretty cool room.
You make this wonderful return to Santa Barbara. You'll work your way back into the lives of all the people that were involved, and all the time you're just playing various.
Well, that's very fascinating, Stephen. Unfortunately, I think you've got me confused with one of the Black Widows in the movies you're so fond of. You honestly think I'm capable of doing something?
Air's kind of nasty out there today.
Investors who did choose AT&T have been hurting. The stock is down more than 30% from a year ago. The phone giant says its domestic phone business is falling because of fierce competition from MCI, Sprint, and
once they have these new initiatives in place, again, local PCS online services that they can sell into that customer base and grow revenues using those new services.
many analysts say AT&T is an easy target. Competitors are finding innovative ways to undercut the leader.
I have a level, much like the ones that IBM faced back in 1992.
AT&T's retail price is 90% above the wholesale cost. That makes it easy for competitors to undercut the leader.
fire.
Yeah.
Back and they said he has to rewrite it, and it's up to the doctors in the hospital that review it, and they determine whether or not I can go home and how soon they may go. Well, it's important. She needs to get out of here. Screw Manny.
Yeah.
Oh God! Now he has a video camera on.
You see how it feels turning around? I'm running. I'm playing the
Where's your
other.
door? Someone's at your door.
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I got my toy.
Excuse me?
Serial killer unit said terms of the interview were unacceptable. The 6-year-old was found beaten and strangled in the family's basement the day after Christmas.
Good morning.
Hey.
Been interviewed by police. Town
That's Mr.
officials and
Yee,
flood ravaged
1997.
residents in Grand Forks could have been.
Oh, hell, anybody moves.
Oh, I think that's a blue and green right there.
Need the tripod, Ricky.
We're doing,
Freedom's Inn, right?
yeah, I guess. I don't know until Mr. E drops us off.
What did you think about Korea? At least you didn't have to worry about all the clubs and everything. John just takes care of it, you know, it's one call.
No, that's for the Army. That's what,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think
that's what I
everything
mean.
else.
Yeah, the Army tour, I mean. That saves you the hassle of...
Yeah, you get there and those ones. Oh, you can see the white now, Ricky. It's coming through in the back. You know,
Rock Dog said that one shit in the coffee can.
where?
Different thing. Came my computer back up, sorry. Yeah, no video. Black one of them. Even Jacob, where I live, to my homeowner, his kid just got married. The kid's staying with the family for
I think Bob's driving that bus. They only got 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Bus is pulling out in 2 minutes, whether you own it or not.
Oh, really? That bus?
I was looking at the way they dressed and everything. I wonder where they come from. Damn sure they... Yeah, these are spoiled boys.
Kind of.
Got a big gal puffing on that cigarette.
Where?
Going out in front in that big white dress. Oh hell, she took off running, must have. She disappeared.
Amazon, you go about Amazon right now? Yeah, I didn't care very much for kimbap.
What's kimbap?
Little seaweed wrapped up circles.
Yeah,
I didn't care very much for that.
I didn't even get none.
We enjoyed some down there for the night. I didn't care for it. Now the other one I do like, cheeseburger. There is a good place down here too long for cheeseburger. Half an hour spot.
Station?
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen one.
It used to be a wall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Korea.
North Korea?
Mount Lake. Tour.
Said something about North Korea?
Big sign?
Yeah.
This sign?
Yeah.
Everybody come.
Oh, coming from speaking in North Korea?
Yeah.
Hey, Rand. Lookout tower we had on a clear day. Yeah, kind of.
Frodium, South Korea.
Yeah,
Window open sound.
that's a speaker right there now.
Yeah. You know,
Look at the soldiers, y'all.
Where?
In the booth?
Yes.
Oh.
South Korean.
Yep.
ROK. 80% sleep. A dude soldier, maybe 12 weeks. Dude soldier. You know.
Get out?
No, I'm not gonna get out. I'm just shooting.
I can't shoot this and get out.
Well, go ahead. Get out.
On holiday, here, you know, go apple, you know, rice, take, go, you know, go Korean holiday. Lot of people.
Right here. No, you can go ahead.
Hotel, you know, go South Korea, you know, look.
Oh yeah, they looking.
Nobody people, you know, go.
They don't like it?
Yeah. No, you can go.
You can't go.
Yeah.
IDs?
No, I think no idea.
Picture okay?
Training shop, you know, bridge.
Where? Oh yeah. Get the field. It's cool.
Yeah. In front of them all.
Is he really? Oh, get anniversary. You get ready to buy. Look, y'all. Look up those signs. Look at this shit.
Oh, yeah.
Man, girl.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Oh, man, I'm scabbing on my hand. Yeah. How does it do that? I do every year. Damn, really? Look at that fucking hole. I'll give it my hand, John. You can stick it in your chest. Fire training. Hose.
119.
Oh, they're saving somebody. That's cool as shit.
Is somebody riding in the basket?
119.
Yeah. 911.
119.
They go hiking in that mountain?
Yeah. We members walk this shit.
Got our exercise for the day, didn't we, Bob?
The road dog walked down it.
Yeah.
And the sissy boots, Ricky. Look at the people up here, y'all.
Everybody's sex parking lot.
No, let's look to the tower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Missed that one.
Get Ricky's out. Oh, I got hit on by a faggot last night. You see? come back to about 2 o'clock probably, 1 or 2. Oh.
I think it's an hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
I drive an hour and a half. You tomorrow you check, you know.
Yeah, but
So highway, you know, go hour and a half.
Mr. Chong said 2.5 hours. Cause I thought we could leave at 3 get there. I bet we still could leave 3 get there. 3, 4, 5, 6.
What time showtime?
8.
8. 10. Now we gotta go to 11.
What a reason.
That guy began on that ace snapper, he had something.
Fine, my brother fixed it for me.
I'll tell you who fixed it.
But well, I had to buy a clip for it, and it was actually my stepdad's service revolver, or service side piece, whatever.
My father's got a 45, my brother's got it. A holster. US on the holster. That's a fucking cannon.
I had to buy a damn clip for it.
I tell you who scared me about it,
It
though.
was prison there. Worked out there. They wasn't going back to work or something. Tower Hotel. William had one that had a 12 gauge shotgun with the right.
Yep.
Like pistol grip on it. Me and Troy stopped down a dirt road.
Barely see it.
Took the old hard hat, walked out in front of the car and set it down. I was gonna shoot the hard hat. Had double aught buckshot in the damn thing.
What done that? Hey, dude, you ever perform in front of a video camera?
What?
You ever set up a video camera?
I've never had it.
So we make a good time, huh?
Yeah, good time.
Hey, Ma. You videotaping Bruce?
That's, yeah.
I need something to fire this door up. Bruce,
What?
what do we got? I need to fire this door open right here.
Everything's in the
Pull it a little
toolbox, man.
Bob, we ain't got nothing except my hand.
Yeah.
We could use my lever.
That's it.
What do you think? What do you think, son? Document, Mr. John.
All right, now, back. Let's shut it. All right, let me get over there. Y'all want some goddamn redneck little boys from Panama, South Carolina. Get next to it.
Do it, Bob Ford. Don't do it too fast.
If my stuff.
If you don't get that door open soon, John's gonna kick your ass.
I'm gonna need some boys over here to pull this door. I'm gonna need some boys over here to pull this door. Cut on this side over here, y'all. Hey, what can you pull on? Grab it at the top. Yeah, stick it in. Yeah.
Get one of them and you get the other, Bob.
Too short, John.
Here comes a block of wood.
Block of wood. He's done this.
Yeah.
Ready? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, good.
It comes more.
Wait, you.
Let me do it.
Do it here, right here.
Yeah, do it right up. Okay.
How's okay?
Pull that side. Okay, easy right there. Didn't want to tear nothing.
Stroke it, Bob Ford.
I said, stick it right here. Okay.
Get a little bird's eye view here.
Randy, can you pull it?
Uh-oh. Battery's dying.
you see a death row, you know, it looks like your TV, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not again. Look at TV on top. TV camera.
No demonstration.
Yeah, no demonstration. Yankee gun on. Like a bunch of their old tires up there. They play soccer there, Mr.
America and Korea.
America?
Yes.
Concerts, bands.
You may get a place like that, your machine goes down and tech support's only open 4 hours a day, Monday through Wednesday. You got the magazine that rates the tech support in there, Bruce? Did you look up NEC and see what their tech support was like? Nippon Electronics Corporation.
But it'll say NEC.
Wonderful home.
Next day, swap out service, 3-year parts.
Damn, what a big old dam. Could this be West Virginia?
We're not quite that close to home.
Oh, yeah? Let me see what the highway's like.
Mr. Chair. First I'll say Mr. John, then I'll say Mr. Not too big, not too small. It's not deep out there, Mr. Charles?
It's not too deep.
Yeah. I have a big old boat. Damn, that's right.
Yeah.
It would probably float in that. Yeah, see, they're coming back out of the mountains.
They probably ain't got no planes landing up in these campgrounds.
This one, no. We are the East Coast.
Yeah, let's sit. Man, I like this. You imagine us sitting up down here? I never felt this way before. Get around there, Rick.
Let's pose. Get in there, Rick.
Get around there before.
That's enough. Are you recording?
Yeah, you damn right.
1,001, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough.
Don't we go to the right? Oh, we go, okay. Look at that, is that cool? Oh, man. Party fight.
Ratty looking fucking truck.
Yeah, I mean it was clean last year. Mr. John kept it clean.
What that shit 800 more. Man, bro. We looked for it then.
And the street ET one. I be starting going up the hill with it.
Let's put some more people on it. I don't remember. You remember the club, bro?
No.
Okay.
Damn, what on? How the fuck you get up there?
Park and drive up, walk up there, you see? Damn, this is watery right here, Ricky.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't come this way, right here.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
I remember crossing that bridge back there. We crossed the bridge somewhere. I believe we've been this way before. I remember crossing that bridge and coming over here and going back like this.
Does this river come from the north?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They're against drugs pretty much as far as they are now. Of course, when I was their age, I wasn't smoking one either. I told them, once they get on up with a friend, it's going to be up to them to say no or whatever.
Hey, Bruce. This is one of the first clubs we've been.
Look at the boats and stuff.
Damn, boss, we need to hurry up, set up, come back and take a ride.
Yeah.
Look at this little house over here with the hump bridge.
Low ceiling, good center room. Yep, it's a low ceiling. Them old rowboats.
That's a good sign the room's there tonight.
Was it?
Yep.
Last year, Bruce, when we were here, all these boats were on the banks.
Friday, a very special program on CNN International, China.
Roads flooded. Not wrecked, roads flooded. Guys over here now trying to unstop the drain. Hey. Got them a job. Trucks must be flooded out.
Go across that bridge and throw the damn garbage out.
I don't know. We need a big screen down yonder somewhere. All that's gonna wind up out in the ocean. That's a big ass building right yonder, y'all.
62, 63.
How many?
60.
How many feet is it?
63.
What kind of building, Mr. Chong?
What? Assembly building.
Assembly building.
Yeah.
It's gonna clear up, y'all.
You saw that in North Korea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah.
Can we stop up at the, you know where the gate is?
Gate?
You know where the road, where the road stops?
Yeah.
Can we stop there real quick and walk around in there real quick?
Yeah.
Because Aggie ain't gonna be here yet. Then we're gonna come and get something to eat and wait on Aggie. Is that okay?
I don't think they open till about 5.
It's very low. Oh, God, no. Mom, I'm sorry. Mom, we try to raise everybody well, Mr. O'Neill. Sun's coming out. I can't believe they built this nice highway up there.
They ready for when this wall falls, Bob.
You ain't got no pieces, right?
You started set up. Go back the, oh yeah, go back the, let's wash, clean.
Oh, yeah. After we set up, and if you drop off to the tour.
We leave the club to B&B. So good. We get about 3.
What order in time?
Freedom Bridge.
Freedom Bridge. What out? The rolls up. Cannot come on the back. Yeah. Oh, that's the bumpy there too. That's a tank pump too that blows up.
You want to stop here, bud?
Yeah.
And no respect, you don't get none. You don't get it.
I'm gonna go eat. of that. Take your hand off of that.
Just about 4 seconds. I got plenty of footage.
Look at they're doing the dikes, Randy. They're flooding the fields.
That time playing with you this morning.
That's something good. We don't do the, yeah.
There's the president of North Korea. There's a goon. Court, well, it is Bill Clinton.
Oh, they got this stuff off the submarine.
Oh, that's the submarine they found?
Yeah. Cameras,
Maybe here in a minute. Randy.
VCRs. President Clinton said, "I didn't get you guys."
That was new right there now.
All right. Everything cool?
Yeah. And if they like say, you know, if they give us any trouble, we just may have to like pass up going inside the MAC building.
That's cool.
Okay. I'm sure you guys would rather do that than try to. Up north today, we require that all our visitors read, sign, and date one of these visitors' declaration forms. Now, these forms release the United States Army, the United Nations Command, and the Republic of Korea from any actions that the North Koreans may take on you while on tour today.
Say, this is where the VP said greatness hangs together. You know what I'm saying?
Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, she sat there.
Oh, yeah?
Let's see, who else? Who else has sat in that chair? Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich.
I was just drawn to this chair, too. It just...
Well, the problem is, Bruce,
What?
I haven't sat in it yet.
On behalf of the United Nations Command and the men of the United Nations Command Security Battalion Joint Security Area, I'd like to welcome you to Camp Boniface today. The United Nations Command is a multinational coalition force which monitors the Korean armistice and helps maintain regional stability throughout Northeast Asia. The United Nations Command Security Battalion was established in the spring of 1952, originally consisting of 5 officers and 10 enlisted men to support the ongoing armistice talks. We reached our peak strength near the end of the Korean War with over 1,900 men assigned. Currently today there are approximately 500 military personnel assigned, 60% of which are Republic of Korea or ROK soldiers. Now, our unit's primary mission is to provide a secure environment for all armistice, diplomatic, humanitarian, and peace operations through the positive control of the United Nations Command's most forward battle area and to maintain security and order within the Joint Security Area, commonly referred to as Panmunjom. Now, to place your tour in better context and to help you fully understand what you're going to see today, I'll briefly review the political history of the Korean Peninsula. Now, in the final days of World War II, the Soviet Union and the United States decided that the Soviet Union would accept the surrender of the Japanese who had colonized the Korean Peninsula north of the 38th parallel, and the United States would accept the surrender of the Japanese who had colonized the Korean Peninsula south of the 38th parallel. Now, this line, the 38th parallel, was never meant to be a political boundary nor a division of country, but was merely established to designate areas of responsibility. Now, in 1947, the UN General Assembly passed a resolution calling for free elections to be held throughout the Korean Peninsula under UN supervision to form one unified national government. However, the Soviet Union would not allow entry into North Korea to supervise these elections. So the UN General Assembly passed a second resolution calling for free elections to be held in those parts of Korea that were accessible to a UN commission. Free elections were held in the south, and this man, Dr. Syngman Rhee, was elected the first president of the Republic of Korea. In September of that same year, the Soviet Union appointed this man, Kim Il-sung, to be the first premier of communist North Korea. And he reigned for approximately 46 years until his death in July of 1994. He was succeeded in power by his eldest son, Kim Jong-il. Now this is the first familial succession of power ever to take place inside a communist country. Despite negotiations and attempts at peace, on 25 June 1950, North Korea launched a massive surprise attack on the South. Now, this war lasted for more than 3 years and cost over 2 million people their lives. However, a permanent settlement has not yet been reached to this day. On 27 July 1953, the military commanders of the United Nations Command, the Korean People's Army, and the Chinese People's Volunteers signed an armistice or ceasefire agreement, thus ending the fighting. Now, gentlemen, that ceasefire agreement is still in effect today. This is a representation of the border between North and South Korea. This broken dotted line represents the Military Demarcation Line, or MDL. Now, under the provisions of the armistice, military commanders were ordered to pull back their troops and equipment 2,000 meters from their last point of hostile contact, thus creating a 4,000 meter wide, 241 kilometer long demilitarized zone, or DMZ, that spans from the Han River estuary in the west to the East Sea, or Sea of Japan in the east. I'd like for you to note the location of Seoul and its close relationship with the MDL. We're currently located here at Camp Boniface, just 400 meters from the southern boundary of the DMZ and 2.4 kilometers from the MDL. This is the city of Kaesong in North Korea. This was the original site of the armistice talks, prior to them being moved to the neutral location of the Panmunjom, also known as the Joint Security Area. And although the DMZ has become one of the most militarized locations throughout the years, the actual MDL itself does not consist of any fortifications. It is simply a series of 1,292 yellow and black panel markers that are spaced at 100 to 200 meter intervals. Now on the southern side of these markers, they're labeled in Hangul or Korean at the top and English at the bottom. On the northern side of these markers, they're labeled in Hangul or Korean at the top, but Chinese at the bottom. Inside the Joint Security Area itself, the MDL is more easily defined as a series of white stakes that stand approximately 1 meter in height and are spaced at 10 meter intervals, and on conference row by the 17 by 5 inch concrete slab that connects the buildings there. Now this is a schematic of the area you will be visiting today. Notice how the MDL winds its way through the middle of the DMZ and forms a finger here inside the Joint Security Area. Now upon our arrival here today, we will be surrounded on 3 sides by Communist North Korea. Now we're going to begin our tour here at Camp Boniface and exit onto the MSR, or main supply route. Now also known as Old Highway 1, this is the only stretch of highway that still connects North and South Korea. We'll then cross the southern boundary of the DMZ and enter a 1,000 meter wide security corridor known as the MACA, or Military Armistice Commission Headquarters Area. Now the MACA was established to provide safe passage for dignitaries and officials traveling to and from the armistice talks. The MACA is still in effect today and is secured and patrolled by elements of this unit as well as the 1st ROK Infantry Division. The areas to the east and to the west of the MACA are secured and patrolled by the Republic of Korea Armed Forces. Now as we travel further north up the MSR today, I'm going to point out 2 key military installations. The first is Guard Post 240, and the second is Observation Post Olet. You may also find it interesting to know that the DMZ is inhabited, and there are 2 villages within this area. The first is the village of Taesongdong, or what we call Freedom Village, and just 700 meters into Communist North Korea is the village of Gijongdong, or what we call Propaganda Village. Also, upon our arrival in the Joint Security Area today, I'll point out 2 additional landmarks. The first is the location of the Swiss and Swedish neutral nations camp, and the second is the location of the former Czechoslovakian and Polish neutral nations camp. The Neutral Nations Supervisory Commission, or NNSC, was formed of the representatives of Switzerland, Sweden, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. Now, the Commission was charged with the investigation of all armistice violations that occurred outside of the DMZ. Now, although its missions and functions have changed throughout the years, the NNSC still remains an integral part of the Korean armistice. Currently today, the NNSC is operating with 2 delegates, the Swiss and the Swede, as opposed to the 4 specified by the armistice. This is a photograph taken of the village of Taesongdong. The JSA commander, Lieutenant Colonel James F. Laufenberg, is responsible for all civil affairs that go on inside this unique village, to include its security. He carries out his responsibilities through the use of a security platoon that guards the villagers 24 hours a day. During the day, they guard the villagers while they farm their land, and at night they guard the village itself while the residents sleep. Now the residents all have modern homes and rather large allocations of land, to include many of the facilities found in any village throughout the Republic today, such as a church and a primary school for their children. However, they do live under some severe restrictions. They must be in their village by nightfall each night and in their homes with their windows and doors secured by 11 p.m. Now this is a photograph taken of the village of Gijongdong, or what we call Propaganda Village. Now we gave it this name because located all throughout this village is an extensively large speaker system that broadcasts propaganda 6 to 12 hours a day, mostly at night here at Camp Boniface. Now this propaganda idolizes Kim Jong-il as being a great leader and invites the residents of Taesongdong, as well as the rest of the Republic, to defect to the so-called Village of Paradise. However, if one were to defect here, they'd find themselves rather lonely, for this village is uninhabited. Now we do see work crews here from time to time, but it's merely for the maintenance and upkeep of these buildings and to raise and lower this extremely large North Korean flag. Now, this is one of the largest flags in the world today and has an approximate length of 31 meters. This is also the second of 2 flagpoles ever to stand here at Gijongdong. For 1981, the Republic donated a flagpole to the village of Taesongdong that stood slightly taller than the original flagpole in Gijongdong. So the North Koreans quickly responded by building an even larger flagpole. So currently today, the flagpole in Taesongdong stands at 100 meters in height, and the flagpole in the village of Gijongdong stands at 160 meters in height. Also visible from, this is a photograph taken from United Nations Command Checkpoint 3. This will better help you orient yourself upon our arrival there today. Now, there are 2 landmarks in this area. First is this cluster of white buildings. That is the location of the former Czechoslovakian and Polish neutral nations camp. The second is this rather large white building. It sort of resembles a farmhouse. Now that is known as the North Korean People's Peace Museum. It was constructed in under 48 hours strictly for the purpose of the signing of the armistice. Also visible from Checkpoint 3 is the Bridge of No Return. Now the Bridge of No Return obtained its name near the end of the Korean War when prisoner exchanges were done here at Panmunjom. Now the prisoners were lined up at either end of the bridge and given the opportunity to cross into the country of their choice. However, once they did so, they could never return, hence the name. During these prisoner exchanges, which lasted several months and were designated Operation Big Switch and Operation Little Switch, the United Nations Command returned over 82,000 prisoners of war, whereas the Chinese and North Koreans only returned approximately 13,000. Now this is a schematic of the Joint Security Area prior to 1976. All the blue buildings you see belong to the United Nations Command, and all the red buildings belong to North Korea. Now the Joint Security Area had an approximate diameter of 800 meters and was established under the armistice as a conference area for the Military Armistice Commission, its subordinate agencies, and the Neutral Nations Supervisory Commission. Now at this time, the Joint Security Area was considered a neutral location, and the guard forces from both sides were allowed to freely cross this border. Now the North Koreans took full advantage of this by building 4 checkpoints along the southern boundary road, whereas we built none in the northern sector. I'd like for you to note the location of Checkpoint 4 and how it is surrounded on 3 sides by North Korean guard towers, also completely isolated from the rest of the Joint Security Area. Checkpoint 3 had limited visibility to Checkpoint 4, due mainly to a large yellow poplar tree that once grew in this area. So on 18 August 1976, the United Nations Command dispatched a 5-man civilian work detail accompanied by a 10-man security detail to perform a routine tree trimming operation. However, upon their arrival at Checkpoint 4, they were met by a numerically superior guard force of 28 North Koreans. Now work did begin as planned, but just 15 minutes into the operation, the North Korean soldiers brutally attacked the JSA personnel. Now, this ensuing fight lasted for approximately 4 minutes, but in that short period of time, the JSA company commander, Captain Arthur Boniface, and the 1st platoon leader, 1st Lieutenant Mark Barrett, were brutally axed to death. Now, to give you a better idea of how outnumbered they were that day, I'll point out the 3 JSA personnel visible in this photo. The first is kind of hard to make out, but here you can see 1 JSA soldier fighting off 7 North Koreans. This yellow arrow points to the helmet of Captain Arthur Boniface, who was killed in front of his own vehicle. And here you can clearly see a North Korean guard wielding an axe at 1st Lieutenant Mark Barrett, who was later killed. Now, this unprovoked act of violence led to a special series of MAC meetings, at which time it was decided that the guard forces from both sides should be separated by the actual border itself. And under this new resolution, no further acts of violence occurred until 23 November, when a Soviet citizen on a North Korean-sponsored tour dashed across the MDL in an attempt to defect to the free world. Now, North Korean soldiers armed with pistols and rifles rushed into our portion of the JSA, firing their weapons in an attempt to kill or capture the Soviet defector. Now, our own guard force did immediately return fire to protect themselves as well as the defector. At this time, there were approximately 30 North Korean soldiers here in the northern portion of the sunken garden, 100 meters south of the MDL, firing their weapons throughout the area at JSA personnel. Now, the JSA Quick Reaction Force was immediately notified and halted the North Korean advance here in the southern portion of the sunken garden, and then outflanked their main body. Now, the ensuing firefight that occurred lasted for approximately 20 minutes. In that period of time, the North Koreans had 3 men killed and 5 men wounded, whereas the United Nations Command only had 1 man killed and 1 man wounded. Now, the Soviet defector was protected throughout all of this, and then subsequently evacuated back here to Camp Boniface. This is a schematic of the Joint Security Area as it appears today. Now, prior to our arrival, we will be halted here at United Nations Command Checkpoint Bravo to wait for a security clearance and for the cordon force to post itself along Conference Row and inside the MAC building. Now, the MAC building was considered the most important building in this area, for it was here that the 4 types of meetings essential to the armistice agreement were held. However, now that the North Koreans have withdrawn from the armistice, this building is no longer used for these type of meetings. The first type of meeting was the MAC meeting. These meetings were held to discuss major violations of the armistice agreement. The second type was the Secretary's meeting. These meetings were held to discuss minor violations of the armistice agreement and to work out issues or details of issues discussed at MAC level. The third type of meeting was the security officers' meetings. These meetings were held at any time deemed necessary by either side to discuss guard force violations within the joint security area. And the fourth and final type of meeting was the joint duty officers' meetings. Now, these meetings were held at any time deemed necessary by either side to pass written correspondence between the two sides. Now, all MAC staff officers can be identified by these yellow armbands they wear. Now, at this time, gentlemen, I'd like for you to note the location of these North Korean soldiers standing outside of the MAC building. Now, they do often come down to view our tours, and it is very likely that they'll come down to view our tour today. So we must ask that you refrain yourselves from making any hand or arm gestures towards these soldiers or attempting any verbal contact with them, for they will take photographs and use it as propaganda or nuisance material. The United Nations Command Security Battalion also provides security and assistance for humanitarian operations going on here at the Panmunjom, such as remains repatriation. Since 1990, 210 sets of remains have been repatriated here from the north, and most recently the repatriation of 1 North Korean soldier. Now, this is the Republic of Korea's Peace House. This building was constructed in 1980 to hold peace talks between the North and the South that were not armistice related. The United Nations Command Security Battalion also provides security and assistance to visiting heads of states and dignitaries on tour here at the Panmunjom. As you can see here, the President of the United States on the Bridge of No Return. The Chancellor of Germany seen here in March of 1993. And Secretary of State Madeleine Albright seen here in February of this year. As well as former U.S. President Jimmy Carter and his wife on tour here at the Panmunjom. Now, this is a close-up of 2 North Korean soldiers. This red collar tab identifies this soldier as an enlisted man, and this gold collar tab identifies this soldier as an officer. Now, the red and white armbands you see these soldiers wearing identify them as military police. Now, under the provisions of the armistice, all armed personnel inside the DMZ must display this type of identification. Now, our own guard force does comply with this, and we do wear MP armbands while armed inside the DMZ. Now, however, I'd like to point out that the majority of the soldiers stationed here at Camp Boniface, to include myself and the other escorts, are all infantry fighting soldiers. This is a close-up of 2 of our soldiers. The soldier you see on the left is a Republic of Korea or ROK soldier. Now, they serve a 26-month tour here, and prior to being selected, must meet the above-average height, weight, and aptitude standards of that of a normal ROK soldier. The soldier you see on the right is a U.S. Army soldier. We serve a 12-month tour here, and prior to being selected, must meet the above average aptitude standards of that of a normal U.S. Army soldier. We must also possess a clean military and civilian record and be able to obtain a secret security clearance. Other missions of the United Nations Command Security Battalion include providing security and assistance for visitors on tour of the Panmunjom, which you're a part of today. Reacting quickly to threats in our areas of operation, and performing live combat reconnaissance patrols to deny North Koreans access to our areas of operation. And it's because of all of this and the fact that we are the most forwardly deployed unit on the Korean Peninsula and that we stand face to face with the enemy on a daily basis that the United States Army, the United Nations Command, and the Republic of Korea have given us our motto that we so proudly state. Gentlemen, we truly are in front of them all. Thank you. If you'll follow me. Patrol guy. Yes, I know. Okay, a couple of you guys want to come on around the table there?
You know what?
Yes.
Where's their flag?
Huh?
Where's their flag?
So when they withdrew from the armistice, they pulled their flag and their microphones out.
When was that?
Wow, I think that was in the 80s. Late 80s, maybe early 90s, I'm not sure.
Well,
It must have been because it was here in '91. They had their flag was bigger than ours. Ours was big around.
Yeah, last time we was here, one base was bigger. So, you know, this flag, the Korean flag, base is bigger, smaller, yellow. So they didn't want to get
Trying
one
to be in your
taller.
cameraman.
The top was fatter.
Well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I better not do that in here.
Well, anyway, I'd like to welcome you to the Military Armistice Commission, or MAC building.
Get over there by
This
him,
was
Bruce.
once considered the most important building in this area, for it was here that the 4 types of meetings essential to the armistice agreement were held. All the meetings in this building usually lasted from 2 to 4 hours long. However, there was one on record having lasted 11.5 hours. Everything said in these meetings was translated into 3 different languages: English, Chinese, and Korean. This was done in the glass booths you can see at either end of the building. Now, the microphone cords you see running up the center of the table here mark the official entry point into the, mark the official demilitarized, getting all messed up here. Mark the official military demarcation line, or border inside this building. Now that's further extended to my front and rear by the 17 by 5 inch concrete slab that connects the buildings here. Therefore, if you're on this side of the table, I'd like to welcome you to North Korea. If you're on this side, you're still safe in the Republic. Now, if you'd like to cross over, you can go ahead and do so. We ask that you do so at that end of the table in respect to the flag. Also, the ROK soldiers posted in this building are here for your protection, so please do not interfere with their duties at any time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. ROK soldier! Pictures of and with the ROK soldiers.
Oh, get over there with him.
Oh, cool.
Shake his hand.
So the slab is.
Don't let him hit you with that fist, though, because that thing looks like a sledgehammer.
Is the slab right here?
Get over there, Bob.
Is the slab? That's basically the border.
Bob, get over there with the soldier.
Here you go, Bruce.
John, get your ass down there. With the soldier, were you scared of him? You better look at them fists of his. I bet you'll be scared too.
Where you push, Bob?
Comes down and forms sort of a candy cane shape there.
Goes up the hill.
Yeah. Now that's the northern boundary of the DMZ. Now if you'll follow that hill to the right into that little saddle or dip right there, you can see a large black box. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a 3-story high speaker system. Now that broadcasts propaganda 6 to 12 hours a day here. Now, if you'll look to our immediate right, about 60 meters away, you can see 2 of the yellow and black panel markers that denotes the border between North and South Korea. Now the border follows this wood line all the way up and makes a right. Now if you look out to our front in the distance by the pine trees, you can see a small cluster of white buildings. That's the location of the former Czechoslovakian and Polish neutral nations camp. Now directly in from that you can see the the large white building that sort of resembles a farmhouse. That's the North Korean People's Peace Museum. It was ironically given the name of Peace Museum because that's where they hold the 2 axes that killed Captain Arthur Boniface and First Lieutenant Barrett.
They still got them?
Yes, they do, sir. Now, if you look in front of the bridge of no return, you'll see a light blue checkpoint. That's United Nations Command Checkpoint 4. Now, as you can see, it's no longer manned today because everything that could be seen from there can now be seen here at Checkpoint 3. The grassy area to the front of Checkpoint 4, that is the focal point of the 1976 axe murders. Now, if you count 5 trees from the bridge of no return, at the base of that 5th tree, you'll see a concrete encasement. That's the monument to Captain Arthur Boniface and First Lieutenant Barrett. In the wood line behind Checkpoint 4, on the North Korean side, you can see a large white propaganda sign. That sign states, when translated from Hangul to English, "Follow the way of the leading star," in reference to Kim Jong-il following in his father's footsteps. If you'll come all the way over to the left, you'll see the village of Gyeongdong, or Propaganda Village. Now, as you can see, the flag is flying fairly well today, although it does take a pretty good gust of wind to make that flag fly. It has an approximate dry weight of 600 pounds. Now, that concludes my briefing here. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Feel free to take all the photos you want.
That checkpoint, what is that north looking
at us? Yeah, that is a North Korean checkpoint. North Korean.
And they are watching us, more than likely. Okay, in front of the Blue Guard shack, the grass area you were talking about, the focal point, is that actually where the event took place?
Yes, well, see, that was the actual attack happened all in that area at Checkpoint 4, but that was just the point it was centered around. That's like around where the vehicle was actually parked.
Yeah, if you remember the pictures, how that circles around the truck was.
And there used to be like a white stone fence that ran up there, and that's where Lieutenant Barrett was standing on the other side of that when that. The North Koreans did block off their end.
So, in theory, somebody could come across it.
They'd probably get shot
from the north.
there.
No, they could come across. That checkpoint on the North Korean side is still manned 24 hours a day.
Okay.
Now, how far are the closest civilians?
Yeah, that's somebody out there looking at us right now. See him walking around there?
You see that that in the distance, that tower right there sticking up? Now, that is the outskirts of the city of Kaesong. That's the first working city inside of North Korea.
And how?
That's
how large?
Population-wise, I do not know, but it's a city. It's a city though. It's not like a town. That's probably about.
Keyboards, bass player, guitar player, sound man.
About how long? About 10 hours.
Yeah,
propaganda.
That's propaganda speakers. It's coming from over there. It's coming from back there around by the Peace Museum. All throughout those hills there, there's speakers, and then over in Propaganda Village.
Now this little white building straight in front of us, what is that?
We're not sure exactly what all those buildings are, but a lot of those buildings over there are barracks. The Republic of Korea Special Forces, and 15 unarmed combat engineers to do the actual tree trimming itself.
You mean the Martian? Oh, go ahead.
Now, they also had B-52 bombers and fighters and attack helicopters flying south of the demilitarized zone. Now, if this wasn't enough, they had the USS Midway and her entire combat fleet floating off the west coast of Korea in full combat alert. Needless to say, they didn't have any problems trimming trees that day.
I wouldn't think so.
Now, if you look off the right-hand side of the bus right here, you'll see the monument for Captain Boniface and First Lieutenant Barrett. Now, the large concrete circle at the base of that monument is the actual size of the yellow poplar tree that once grew there.
Damn. The concrete slab?
Yeah.
So where were the two guard towers in relation to one?
Checkpoint 3. Now, the last time the bridge was used was in 1976. Or, excuse me, 1968. Sorry about that. Now, that was when Commander Bucher and his crew from the USS Pueblo were returned here after 11 months captivity.
Remember that?
This year I was born.
I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, I want to hunt.
Now, if you guys go ahead and take your final photographs here in just a few moments, man-on photography is going to come up.
Okay.
Especially of the flag, because usually it's not.
Yeah, that is a good picture of it.
Just a second, let me see if I can get through.
Yeah, we'll come out on the other side here in just a second.
That's it.
Okay.
All right, Bruce. I've been wanting to get him over that. 13 years.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Not a job, but
She's got messy
no, it's just that usually people in entertainment business they don't like blatantness.
Can I video here?
A railroad track, railroad trestle. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at that searchlight to your left, Bruce, over here. Oh, they just turned it off. Damn. That was a white light. They're like God's white lines.
Yeah. What they said.
Need to put it up there before we get out. Get on.
Come with wind.
All right.
Yeah.
8s.
Y'all just act like y'all.
Oh, shut up. Here, bring it over here. It'll fit.
Move the power supply and all that.
Look at this. Got a cable.
Wait a minute.
Tear it up.
Dragging this fucking ass over there.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Oh, they put him in the fucking trash can. Bruce, mama gonna snatch that camera out of your hand, boy.
I'll have to beat him up. And we'll be fighting.
What'd he do with him?
They took him around the corner.
You don't pay for beer.
Yeah.
You don't pay for money, see? No, fight.
Yeah. I see.
Which way? Straight ahead.
Yes, straight. Almost. Do you need for traffic? Something?